Hello tiny houses and off-gridders. It's the end of the day here, and I've just come inside and sat down to have a look at the news on the PC, see what's been going on around the world today, and a story on tiny houses caught my eye. It's a bit of a win. It's a great little story. I'll give you more of that in just a moment, but I want to take this opportunity while I'm inside and the place is reasonably tidy to show you around my tiny house. This is a 24-foot, 8 feet wide tiny house Housetruck built on the back of built in a traditional way on the back of a 1962 Bedford 7-ton truck, and I've lived in here for 18 years. And I built this thing from scratch. I found an old truck with a seized engine in a field and bought it for $200. Got it going over the next 2 to 3 days, got the engine unseized and got the lights working, and filled the radiator and got this thing moving again, and ended up driving it 150 miles to a place where I could start the conversion to build it into a house truck, and built it into a house truck over probably the next 6 months. It's quite a while ago now. I can't honestly remember how long it took me, but I lived in it as I was building it, which was the challenge. As soon as the roof was on, I moved in and I was sleeping on the floor until I had the lofts built and got the thing finished. So stand up and show you around a little bit. These are the steps up to the rear loft up in the back corner there. The flue you can see, that's the fireplace, which is next to my leather 2-seater couch and the pop-out. Next to the pop-out I've got a bookcase and the computer, a little bit of a workstation going on there. This panel is removable and that allows us to get through to the cab if we need to move the truck in an emergency. These are the steps that allow access, or with a wee seat at the bottom, up the steps and into the rear loft. This is the side door. I have another door on the back of the vehicle as well. Now my kitchen, not very big. My next tiny house will have double the size. I'm going to treat myself, but it's been a great little kitchen. Very, very old stove that cost me something like, I think it was $20. Yeah. So without further ado, this is the story that I was telling you about, and this story is called Tiny Homes Wheel Around the Building Codes. And this is a story from a newspaper called the Marlborough Express, and Marlborough is a region of New Zealand that's at the top of the southern island of New Zealand. Now, the story revolves around a elderly gentleman who wanted to move this home on wheels into a camping ground, and the council gave him a little bit of grief. So, according to the writer, tiny homes on wheels could be the future, with caravan park rental as low as $100 a week. Caravans don't need building consent, and they generate virtually no compliance costs, with detachable links to holiday park plumbing and power. Spring Creek Holiday Park near Blenheim had their first application for an eco-cottage on wheels, with the manufacturer winning assurance from the Marlborough District Council that no consents were required to park it permanently at a plumbed and wired site. With the usual detachable power and sewage links, no extra costs would be involved. If the cottage owner wanted to make a more permanent connection, they'd call in a registered plumber to complete the work. Now, when 76-year-old Dennis Greer sought permission from the Marlborough District Council last week to site his 25-metre square house on wheels at the holiday park, he was told that he would need various consents, including stormwater discharge from the roof, and it was likely to cost him more than $5,000 in paperwork and compliance costs. The manufacturer of Greer's tiny home, Colin Whiteman of Christchurch, went into bat for Greer, and he pointed out to the council officials that the home was in fact a caravan. That cleared the way, Whiteman said. Caravans don't need any building consents. This is a caravan. Effectively, the water, the power, the septic, they're all detachable fittings like a caravan, Whiteman said. He said Greer had the option of more permanent plumbing and would need a qualified drain layer for that. Provided the caravan itself passed its sewage inspection, Greer's tiny home would be legal in the eyes of authorities. It's the way of the future, Whiteman said of his $54,000 tiny homes. We can't keep up with demand. It's a logical solution for the housing crisis. Trailer parks are huge in the United States, where it's an accepted part of their culture. We've started making them for caravan parks all across the South Island because they're perfectly geared for that setting. We're setting the standards with these homes. Full insulation including underfloor, double glazing, proper headroom and a livable width inside. The demand is coming from Airbnb, farm cottages, granny flats, as well as holiday parks. With combined power and gas, it's possible to go completely off-grid in them, Whiteman said. Spring Creek Holiday Park manager Andy Collingwood said Greer's tiny house was the first they'd considered at the popular camping ground. We have around 70 sites available and 40 of them have long-term residents and caravans, people staying 6 weeks or more. There's a lack of accommodation in the area and we're fairly strict about who stays here permanently. Collingwood said that their rates were $100 per week plus power for a long-term stay and $35 per night for short-term. Marlborough District Council Building Control Group Manager Bill East said the tiny house vehicle fits into the activity that does not require building consent. So that's great news. Yeah. Now, he also said any resulting effect, if any, on the effluent system will be an issue for the property owner to address. Oh, that's just piffle, we don't need to know about that. Anyway, there you have it. It's great news. It's a small win for the tiny house community. Couldn't happen to a nicer person. I think it's awesome to hear that a 78-year-old retired man has had a win against the council and gets to stay in his tiny house. So that's just awesome. Now I'm going to put the link to the story down below in the description. If it was of use to you, please give it a like, and if you'd like to see more from House Offgrid Resources, why not hit the subscribe button down here in the corner. Alright, thanks for listening, see you next time, bye.